Now, what a week for UCD. They will be playing Premier Division football next season after a 1-1 draw with Finn Harps last Friday in a cracking game at the UCD Bowl. And it's fair to say the celebrations haven't really stopped. And to tell us more, I'm joined in studio by two of their heroes. They're two centre-backs, Josh Collins, Liam Scales. Hello, how are you?
All good, Jerry. Not too bad, how are you?
Thanks a million for coming in. Now, I do believe there was a little party in the UCD student bar on Friday. For those who didn't see any of the videos, let's have a little look at this and we'll refresh your memories. There you go. Now, question number one, where is that trophy? Because it was due to be here and it's not.
As you see in the video, I think the trophy's on its last legs there. It got damaged in the celebration, so it's getting fixed at the moment.
Okay, so the actual trophy that you guys won the league has already gone back to be repaired?
Yeah.
Was it brought to Coppers or did it stay?
Didn't make an appearance at all, not at all.
Okay, bring me inside, Josh, the hour immediately after the final whistle. From final whistle, celebrations, into the changing room, into the bar.
Well, it was just a lot of celebrations out on the pitch. We were outside, the fans came on. It was great to have, I think it was over 1,000 at the match. They all came running on celebrating with us. Then after that we went and seen our families or whatever, and back into the change room. We had a bit of champagne, lifted the trophy inside and a few photos, and then went to the shooting bar. Food, drinks, we were there. We had a few quiet ones, I'd say, and then that was us.
Liam, for you, the immediate minutes after the match and into the change room, what was it like?
It was unbelievable. I've never felt anything like it before. Like, we were just all over the moon, absolutely buzzing. I can't even explain how good it was, to be honest. It was great.
Yeah, I was at the game and I really enjoyed the whole evening, the match, the performance. And after you went into the dressing room, I could hear the screams of happiness, and there's so many fantastic photos of you guys in the change room, but that's a moment that's quite private. What was that like? It just sounded amazing.
It was just, we all came together as one. I think it was just a moment of relief from the stress of the year. We've been top of the table since third week of the league. I think it was just relief that it was all over and we finally made it through in the end.
What went on in the changing room?
Just celebrations, simple as. Can't say too much because lads will be in my ear tomorrow.
Yeah, but it is, you know, just that moment of release when you go, okay, we've been playing in the league for X number of games. We were still in the FAI Cup, of course, but just that moment of deep breath. We've won the league. We can just let our hair down for a bit.
It was just, everyone was just delighted. Everyone just came together. We had sang a few songs, but it was just relief, as I say. Everyone was just happy it was over.
What was on the playlist, or who was singing?
Yeah.
We've had a mix of everything, to be honest. Everyone was singing. Everyone was singing. We were all so buzzing. So, yeah.
Who's the good and the bad singers?
Greg Sloggett's a good singer. Conor Kearns, good voice as well. The rest of us are brutal. But
I've seen actually some videos of Greg. Does he play the piano or the guitar, or does he?
Guitar, yeah, he's good.
Okay, so he's a fantastic midfielder and also a guitar player. So I thought on the pitch the manager held a huddle, and you guys, I'm sure, just had a moment together. Has it sunk in yet, what you've done and what you've achieved?
To be honest, no. Still hasn't hit me at all that it's over and that we've done it. I think maybe after the Dundalk game and the semi-finals, I think maybe that's when it'll hit me and realise what we've actually achieved.
For you, Liam, have you had time to reflect and go, we've actually won the league?
Not at all, to be honest. Once the season's over, I'm sure we all get together, have another little celebration, and that's it. That'll be it. That'll when we'll sink in, I'd say. Yeah,
because you're back to league action this weekend against Longford, and then you've got that cup game in 2 weeks. I think the last 3 seasons, Josh, the team finished third in the First Division. What for you is the reason why you've won the league this year in comparison to the previous 3 when you didn't?
I think maybe this year it's been a closer bond. It's been generally, we're all similar, same age. I think we have an average age of 20, 21. We've been together now 3-4 years, and it's all just come to fruition now. And you can see on the pitch we're close. We're close together. Even in the celebrations, you can see that we're close. There's no egos. There's no one off celebrating by themselves or anything. We're together. We're a team.
And that is something that has changed in UCD in recent years, that the whole team is all based in college, as opposed to previous years where there may have been some senior pros who, you know, weren't in the college. And I know everybody has spoken about that since the weekend, that seems to have made a big difference. In what ways has that made a difference?
Well, even say like at the start of the year you had to do team bonding things, and it's difficult with older lads who are working as well to organise even a night out or something. It's hard to organise with them because they'll have work in the morning or they have families to go home to, whereas college lads were in college the next day. We could probably miss a lecture or two, but it's easier to organise, and same age again, like everyone, we're all the same.
When you first heard about the plan to go, you know, in that route, I suppose, of only college, did you think at the time that it would lead to a league title in, you know, a couple of years later, a year later?
Jeez, I don't know. If you had said that to me at the start of the year, I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I was maybe hoping playoffs would have been a huge achievement, and for it to come up as league winners, it's ridiculous, really. In
terms of, you know, all the games you played this season, Liam, when did you start to think we've actually got a good chance here to win the league? Is there a moment or a win or something where you thought, do you know what, we've actually got a really good chance here?
Yeah, I'd say it was the game before the break. We went to Finn Harps and we beat them up their way, which is so hard to do. They're so good at home. It's such a hard place to go. So when we won that, I think it put us 7 points clear going into the mid-season break. So we were all buzzing in the dressing room. We thought this actually could happen now. And that was it. That was the point. So
you went into the mid-season break then, 7 ahead. You come back from the mid-season break and you get hammered at home by Longford, and you're probably going, well, we've had this great feeling in Finn Harps and now we've just been very well beaten at home. So it you know, there was a big mix from that game to that game. Tell me about the Longford defeat and what you were thinking directly after that when you're going, we've had this break and we've suffered a bad defeat here. Yeah, it was such a contrast, to be honest. That was definitely the lowest point of the season, being thumped like that at home. But we picked ourselves up after and we did well. Like, we picked up, we haven't been beaten since then, so we're playing Longford again this weekend. We'll be going in hoping to keep the run of form going. It's another big game, so. Yeah, speaking of Finn Harps, that was the team you played on Friday and they were the only team who could catch you. You came into the match 5 ahead, so if they'd have won the match it would have been a 2-point gap heading into this weekend. What did you think when they scored? I think it was the 81st minute they scored from a corner to go 1-0 up. My head was gone, to be honest. It was such a low feeling, but like, we bounced back straight away. Like, Connor's goal was only 1 minute after, and we didn't really have much time to be feeling sorry for ourselves, because after Connor scored it was backs against the wall, trying not to concede again. So yeah, we didn't really have much time to dwell on it, so I suppose. Yeah, I think as well the fact that goal, Josh, came so quickly afterwards, it didn't give Finn Harps a chance to time waste, to put every man behind the ball, to make some subs, because when Keith Cowan scored from that corner, a minute and a half later, Connor Davis has equalised, and it was literally the next passage of play. We 2 or 3 passes. Connor, great touch and great goal. I think if we didn't score in the next 2, 3, 4 minutes, it would have been very hard. Finn Harps would have done everything they can to time waste and whatever, as you do, especially when they need the win to stay in the league and to win the league. Sorry, and it was understandable. You could see the last half hour where Finn Harps were kind of pushing because they needed the win, and we kind of dropped off, which naturally happens when we only needed the point. Yeah, speaking to your goalkeeper Conor Kearns on last week's podcast, and you know, he played really well in the match, but we spoke about Finn Harps set pieces and Finn Harps long throws, and it was a corner that they scored from, which must have been disappointing because that's their game, really. Well, they had so many corners, free kicks, long throws. We've defended so well, but they were due to get one chance. It was naturally going to happen because you can't defend every single one, and to be fair, Cowan took it well and finished it really well. Who was marking him, or who should have been marking him? I was. Yeah, I was devastated. But then Connor dug me out of the hole, so I was buzzing with that. Yeah, hence I'm sure why your head was gone for that period. Yeah. You guys both in the game were so involved in all the defending. You're a defender clearly, but the amount of crosses that came into the box that either you headed out or you headed out, I probably lost count. You really did have to defend really well in that game to get the point you needed in the end. Just explain to me the role against someone like Finn Harps when it's just cross after cross, long throw after long throw, and you're the 2 centre backs. It's difficult, but it was something we worked on the week previous, the 2 weeks previous. We knew it was going to happen. We knew it was coming. As a centre half, you just have to stay concentrating. Remember, you have to stay focused, because one slip up and they were going to score. It was just something we dealt with, and I thought we'd done it reasonably well, other than the corner. But other than that, I thought we were really well. Good. Liam, what are the keys to being a centre back in those type of games? And you're given the job of marking one of their main men on set pieces, and you handle them for 99% of the corners and the one then that he scores. But that's a big role against Finn Harps to be given one of their main men to mark. Yeah, I suppose I'd be one of the tallest on the team, so I'd expect that role, and I kind of
that would be the first time all season I've lost something from a set piece. To come at that time, it was terrible. But you just have to be strong, and you just can't lose them. Really, that's it. They've a few threats from corners. Like they played 3 centre halves, and I'd say they're all over 6'3". So you just have to be really strong and concentrate and don't lose them. That's the main point, I'd say.
And then at the other, end of the game, the style of play that UCD played, and I loved the fact that the goal that won you the league in the end came from a brilliant pass, a brilliant touch and a really good finish. But the previous weekend against Waterford in the Cup, same principles, playing out from the back, trying to pass the ball. Explain to me your roles in that, the two of you, because you're the first line of pass from the goalkeeper, and it does take balls to play like you guys play.
Yeah, Collie wants us to play that way. He wants it to come from Connor out to me and Josh and into midfield and whatever. And we've got really good midfielders in our team who we always have Gary dropping in and giving us an option, and Greg, if Gary's not there, Greg will do the same. It's honestly the team we're in, it's kind of easiest for us to do that because the players we have ahead of us want to get on the ball and they'll show for it all the time. So you just have to be confident, I suppose, and believe in yourself, getting on the ball and doing the right thing at the right time. Where
does that confidence come from?
Just playing games, I suppose. Yeah, me and Josh have been in the team now for nearly 3 years, 2.5 years, and we've played quite regularly, so it's just a build-up of confidence from playing games.
For you, Josh, what's the role like? Because you do see lots of the ball, and some teams will press, some teams will let you have the ball, but it's an important role in the team, the one that you guys both fill.
It could be difficult at times, but I think when me and Liam, if we can start it off, because we break the first line of the press, and the players we have in the attacking areas, if we can get into Gary, Greg, the Faroujas, if we can get it into them, we're going to create opportunities. And I think you can see that. You've seen it in the previous games when we've gotten into Greg with the Waterford goal, even Gaz, Greg, Darrell Connor for the goal on the weekend as well. So if we break that first line of attack, I think we have a great chance of scoring a goal.
It takes lots of practice though, and lots of work on the training pitch, because every team will, for example, even this Friday against Dundalk in the Cup, next weekend they might come and try and set traps and try and press you. So just explain to us the amount of work that goes into the passing style, because it doesn't just happen, because most teams decide, okay, I'll pass to the centre back and I'll just kick it long because I've no options, but for you guys it's very different.
We work on it every week, to be fair, with Reiner and Collie. It's something, passages of play, possession, it's in every training session that we do, and it's expected of us to go get the ball, get on it, not to shy away from it, and to move the ball fast, and that's what Collie and Reiner want, and we try to do it the best we can. And
I'm sure there's been certain games this season where that's been difficult, and where you've lost the ball, but you still have the confidence to go and get the next one. Where does that come from? Does it come from, the manager telling you that he's taking responsibility for it, or where does that come from? Because it does have to be, you have to weigh up the risk versus the reward of doing that.
It definitely comes from the manager. If you make a mistake, and Collie understands, because he expects us to play, and naturally when you're playing up from the back all the time, you're going to make the odd mistake here and there, but you can't just shy away then, and that's what he puts his arm around your shoulder, and he understands that you're going to make the odd mistake here and there, but to get on with it and go again the next week.
But what it does do is it allows you to be able to dictate most games in how you play, and even the Waterford match in the Cup I mentioned, I'm sure against Dundalk you'll still try and pass the ball as well, but it just allows you to have the ball, which allows chances to be created, and we've spoken about your attacking players that you've had to be able to do that. It's a style that suits winning matches, doesn't it?
It does, I think it does, and as a footballer it's the style you want to play. You want to get on the ball, you want to move it. It's attractive to look at, and it's enjoyable. It's more enjoyable to play. I'd rather play for a team that's going to try and pass than just hit the front man and work off there. It'd be easier just to play that way, but as a centre half I prefer to be on the ball and moving it.
Now, speaking of hitting the front man, Liam, you guys maybe had to change your style a little in the summer break when Georgie Kelly signed for Dundalk, and he was at the match on Friday, watched the game with him, and he came onto the pitch afterwards to celebrate with you guys as well. He's left, and in has come Connor Davis, who's I think scored 7 or 8 goals now, including the other night. I know you're mad, he played a few games as well, but Connor and Georgie are very, they're not similar in their style, but yet they both got you goals. But for you guys as centre backs, you may be playing into Georgie's feet, or where Connor, as the goal proved the other night, he's the one who kind of wants to get in behind. I was saying to Georgie that would have actually made a great partnership.
Yeah, I think Georgie, it would be brilliant for Georgie to play with someone. I would have said that when he was here as well. He with a partner, it would have been excellent, because his hold of play is so good. If he had someone playing off him, it would have been brilliant. But at the same time, our midfield is so strong as well. It'd be hard to take someone out of midfield and play an extra striker. Yeah.
And just in terms of the role of you guys with a striker in the first part of the season, like Georgie, who was the top scorer in the league when he left, into Connor, who's a little bit of a different style, the team's been able to keep winning with the fact that you've had, very different strikers?
Yeah, I suppose we kind of just adapted, like, naturally as well. We didn't really put too much focus on it. Like, there wasn't much pressure on Conor coming in, like there was, but we didn't put any pressure on him to play like Georgie. We let him do his thing, and it worked. So, yeah.
Josh, tell me about playing in front of your goalkeepers. As I said, spoke to Conor last week. I thought he was fantastic in the game the other day. His kicking is really, really good. Soccer Republic, I'm glad, showed one unbelievable ball that he played. He just, it was like one of those old style Pepe Reina. Up the side.
Connor's been great all season. He's come in this season. He hasn't, I don't think before the season he played a senior game, and he's come in and as if he's been playing it the past 5 years. He's really been incredible, and as you've seen, on the ball he's really good, and as a centre half he's vocal as well, which is what you want, someone talking you through the game, helping you out, and I feel that he does that. And
he's really filled the void of Niall Corbett, who was also brilliant for UCD, and he's come in and just really settled into being UCD's number one. It looks like quite easily.
Yeah, it was big shoes for him to fill, replacing Corbett. Corbett's a top keeper, and he's just done it as if it was nothing, and he's been superb all season.
Speaking of young players getting into the team and their first senior appearances, Josh, give us your own background into when you joined UCD in 2014 and your path from being a youth player there into college, and obviously now as a key man in the first team.
Yeah, well, I started, as you said, in 2014. I joined the 19s. And after playing with the 19s for a year, I was in and about with the first team. I was training with them most weeks, and I made a few appearances in my first season. And then second season, which was last year, I started a few more games. I think I had around 20 appearances. And then coming into this season, I was hoping I wanted to be more of a regular, and I feel I had a really good pre-season. And I came in strong, and I felt I want to play every game. And I played every minute so far this season in the league, which I'm delighted about, really.
Why did you choose UCD at that time when you were joining the 19th?
I knew Albert was the 19th manager. He came and he really sold it to me. I really was interested. I wanted to go to college. I felt that it gave me the opportunity to get my education. And also Alistair Harvey was there as well, who I was really close with as well. And he was the coach of the 19th. And his style of football really suited me as well. And I knew that he would want to play that way. So it was a no-brainer, really.
Okay, so you moved to the 19s, and as we said, you moved quite quickly into the first team. When you were making your first team debut, what age were you, and what were you thinking at that stage when you were going in very young as a centre back? I
think I was 17, maybe 18. I was nervous, of course. It was difficult at the start because I hadn't grown properly still yet. I still wasn't as big and strong as I possibly hoped to be, and it was difficult. But there was good lads around me. There was still had the lads that I played with at the 19s. They were coming in at the same time, so it wasn't just as if I was coming in by myself. I was with other lads who were adapting to that stage, because it is a big step up. I think from 19s to first team, it is definitely a big step up.
So when you signed, you would have been still in school?
Yeah, in the 19s I was doing my Leaving Cert. Okay,
and at that stage did you know what you wanted to study, and were you able to, clearly work you're now in college, but the balance of doing your Leaving Cert and also playing football with the 19s and stuff?
Yeah, it was difficult, but I knew I wanted to do some sort of economics coming into college. So I kind of had an idea what I was going to do. And it was difficult balancing, because we were training, and then we were training right up to my Leaving Cert, and that was very difficult with the 19s league. It was really hard to find the balance of whether to study, when to train, but I got through it in the end, and it's all good now.
What are you studying?
I'm doing a pre-masters in economics now this year.
Okay, a pre-masters,
yeah.
So that means you have a degree?
I have a degree. I'm doing the pre-masters this year, and then hopefully the masters next year.
Okay, so it must be quite a difficult course if you have to do a pre-master. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's basically just like a stepping stone into the masters, so I need to get really good grades to make sure I get into the masters for next year, so I'll have the heads in the books early now this year. And
how have you found the balance of football and being in college as opposed to football and school, because there's more of a workload in college, and clearly now I would think the load when you're trying to prepare for a masters is quite big?
Well, I'm living on campus, so I think that definitely helps. Say I could go to the library before training. I don't have to rush home, and then after training I go home for a shower, and then I'm back to the library again. So it really helps being on campus. Whereas if I was living at home, it'd be very difficult to study as well as train. And of course, you're from a very sporting family. The background into your uncles and your dad Dave still involved in Cherry Orchard as well. Just explain to us about that you've got a lot of good footballers in your family, and of course your brother Nathan playing in the UK, and one of the stars of the Irish 17s at the Euros last year as well. Yeah, I come from a footballing family. My dad played in England, my uncle played in England, my uncle Michael, he also played in League of Ireland. So it's a big family of football. Nathan's obviously in England. He's playing for Stoke at the moment and he's doing really well. It's good to have all that around me. I don't feel like there's any pressure or anything. I think it's good to bounce ideas off whoever in my family. There's no negativity around there or anything, and to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I watched the Irish under 17s last night on Tuesday playing in Tala, and it was their first game since the Euros last year, and everybody of course will be fully aware of what happened in terms of the drama in the penalties and the goalkeeper Jimmy Corcoran being sent off and Oisin McEntee have a go on goal. Your brother would have been playing then. Were you at that game?
No, I had an exam the next day.
Okay.
So I was supposed to be studying, but I was watching the match on TV and it was hard to study after because I was quite annoyed with the result. But sure, look, I would have liked them to get over, but I couldn't. What
were you like watching that? Like, we were all so annoyed, and I don't have a brother playing. It must have just been unbelievable to watch that happening. Yeah, it was crazy. Because we thought he saved it. A few of the lads were in the house watching it with me, all got up celebrating, and then next thing you know, the referee's pulling it back, and it was just ridiculous, really. And when you see the penalties in the World Cup with keepers coming off their line, it was just made no sense at all. And of course, in terms of yourself and Nathan, you're big pals and you're good supporters of each other. I know you were in Longford last week watching him playing for the Irish 19s as well, and he gets to see you when he can, so you do have that relationship. It's a couple of years apart, but you're both playing at the top level of your game and support each other all the way. Yeah, I think it helps that we're both playing football. We can bounce ideas off each other. We're always texting regarding the matches, how we're training, or like even how we're playing, or even the mental side of football. It's good to have each other bounce things off, because it can be stressful at times. Going for a league is stressful. It's not easy. You don't think about that when you're younger, but it's a real mental block. And him in England, obviously, it's all he knows at the moment was football. So it can be tough, but we're there for each other to talk. So that definitely helps. Yeah, it's really interesting that you're both from clearly the same family, and yet you're both taking different routes to be footballers. He went at 16 and hasn't done his leaving cert and is playing full time, and you've done the opposite. So it's an interesting mix, both from the same family. Yeah, I think that the regards to me and Nathan was probably he probably developed earlier than I did, whereas I was more of a late developer. Where me staying in Ireland and getting better and stronger as I got older definitely suited me, whereas Nathan, he was younger and he was more ready to go England when he was younger, and it suited him. But the way that I've gone about things with UCD, I definitely wouldn't change it. It's probably the best thing that I could have done, in my opinion. Have you got an England ambition yourself? To be honest, I don't really know what. I still have another year or two in college. I want to get the Masters. I want to complete that, and next year. It'd be great if I can play nearly the amount of games I played this year in the Premier Division. It'd be a great experience to have when I'm 21 years of age. So another year, definitely would happy to stay there. Liam, for you, you're an Arklow boy, moved to UCD. Talk us through your journey to when you joined the club and why.
I suppose I went for trials for the Leinster schools, and Al Sugg was the head of that, and he obviously had links at UCD, and he really liked me, so same as Josh, he sold me it brilliantly, and I really did want to go to college as well, so I chose to go to UCD. I went into the 19s for the interim season. That was my first season, and to be honest, I got lucky. A couple of centre halves got injured and I got thrown in, and we played Cork at home in our first game. We beat them 1-0. They were a really good side at the time, so I had a good season there, and then again injuries in the first team. I kind of got another break and I got into the first team and I did well again, and that's how it's been, I suppose, so far. Yeah, you're the type of player in your age group who, when you were coming up, there would have been always other people whose names would have been on the lips of scouts and other people, but since you've come into the team, and I know from speaking to Collie at the weekend, he singled you out, you've been an ever-present and playing at left back, playing at left centre-back, really, really good, but you've, from what I can tell, kind of come from nowhere. Is that a fair thing to say? Yeah, I like it. That's very fair. I'd be a late developer as well, I suppose. There was lads going over younger. I had no contact. There was no sign of that happening to me at all going to England when I was younger, and I just kind of out of nowhere started doing really well, I suppose. I played when I was 15 and 16. I was playing in the Leinster Senior League side in Arklow, and that helped me a lot. That developed me a lot. Playing for against men and with men, it really helped. Yeah, because I was going to say, can you put your finger on the reason why you've progressed so well to being now, in the team that's won the league and a very good chance to be in the team of the year? Yeah, it was probably that stage where I was doing well for the under 16 team in Arklow. I know we weren't in a very high division or whatever, but then all of a sudden spaces opened up in the Leinster Senior League team, and I just stepped in. And I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was different than the type of football we play now. There's a lot of it was just battling and heading the ball and winning tackles, but that helped me a lot, I think, just to get tougher and stronger, and that's what kind of pushed me on, I suppose.
What are you doing in college?
I'm doing Irish and Geography. I'm in my final year now, so I'll probably go on and teach, I suppose, if I stay in that route, or I might try and do a master's in something completely different. I'm not actually sure what I want to do yet, I suppose.
Okay, Irish and Geography, so you can speak a bit of Oscailga?
I can, yeah.
Interesting. So how does that work? Is the course taught in Irish, or are you doing exactly how does that work?
Well, like the Irish side of it, it's all true Irish. Geography isn't like it's an arts degree, so you choose 2 different subjects and go on and do whatever you want in those things. So all the Irish is all true Irish. I went to an Irish secondary school in Arklow, so I had the Irish. I was like, I may as well keep it up through college, because I didn't really know what else I wanted to do, because I like geography, I'm interested in it, so that's why I chose that.
The UCD team is actually multilingual, because we had Neil Ferrugia in recently and he was speaking in a bit of French. You can speak Irish. There's other players in the team who can speak other languages as well, but I suppose it shows the education pool in the football team that you're all doing, you know, all these different types of courses. And I'm sure when you're having the chats on the bus, they're not your stereotypical football lads chats, because you're all actually clever fellas.
I don't know about that. I'm not too sure, but yeah, like there'd be a bit about, we'd have the banter, the usual banter that all teams have, and then there'd be talk about colleges and courses and what electives you want to do, and yeah, it's a bit of a mix, which is good, I suppose. It changes things from the usual. So.
And how do you find the balance of the football and the college? And I'm saying that in a positive way, from a point of view of distractions, that if you've lost a match on a Friday or a Saturday, once you come into college on the Monday morning and you're focused on your studies, you probably are able to forget what happened in the football pitch that you have to train that night.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Like I really enjoy college, and I don't like exam season is tough, but apart from that, I find like they kind of, you can get a benefit from college into football and vice versa. Like they kind of help each other, like get through both things. If you're stressed in college, you can go out and play football. If football's stressing you, you can concentrate on college. It's a win-win situation, I suppose. Yeah,
and of course you also are able to play for the college team, which is something that I know at times the actual load on your legs can be quite a lot. But I know, for example, you won the Collingwood Cup in 2017. I think you won it in 2016, 2015 as well. Huge amount of times over the last 10 years. But the whole team that's playing for the college is playing for the club, and it's almost like you get a competitive pre-season into your season because you've been playing together, and extra sessions in the gym and stuff as well. It's a big plus.
Yeah, like that's the Collingwood and the CUFL, the league, the colleges league this year. We won both of them. We won the double, and that in our pre-season for the League of Ireland season. So that helped us so much. It gave us a winning mentality coming into the year, and we all bonded through the college team, because it is the exact same squad, bar 1 or 2 other players that come in from the college. So like it gave us such a winning mentality. We were winning games. We were getting closer as a team. We were bonding. It was brilliant. Yeah, and way better than a normal pre-season, I'd say. Okay, so when you finish your college season and you finish your League of Ireland season, do you get any break from football, either of you at all? Because I know when the League of Ireland is in its off-season, the college season is kind of on, and at times I'm sure there has to be a balance struck and actually giving you a rest.
It's more of a full year thing, really, because our college season is starting now in the next 2 or 3 weeks, where we have our league. You probably get a break you probably get November, the end of November, early December off, I'd say, and then you're back at it early January for the new season. And I think it definitely, for starting so early pre-season, I think it benefits us. Even this season, think about it, when we were starting the League of Ireland season, I felt that we were probably more fair. First 2 or 3 weeks, we were definitely fairer than the other teams, and I think that definitely helped us kickstart our season.
Okay, so this weekend, the First Division is the final weekend of fixtures as well. One game on Friday, Wexford against Athlone kicks off at 8 o'clock. That's the 2 bottom teams, and both have been fairly hopeless this season, so interesting to see who wins that one. The other 4 games all taking place on Saturday. They're all at 7:45 because there is a playoff for fourth as such. It's Cove against Drogheda in Cove. Finn Harps host Cabinteely. Finn Harps now are, I think, Finn Harps guaranteed to finish second?
Yeah,
so Finn Harps will finish second. They'll be in the playoffs against the team that finishes third and fourth. It's Longford against UCD in City Calling Stadium, and Shells against Galway. Shells will be in the playoffs in either third or fourth, I think, depending on goal difference as well. So lads, just finally that game, Drogheda are on 46 and Longford are on 44. So if Longford win and Drogheda lose at the weekend, they make the playoffs. So you guys have won the league, but I know you'll be going there to try and win. I think if you win, you level the points total of Waterford last year, and clearly you've got a massive FAI Cup semi-final next week, so it's not going to be a walk in the park for Longford, like some are suggesting you've been on the piss all week, but that's just not true. After a couple of nights out, you're back in a full week of training at the moment.
Yeah, we're back. It's back in full focus now. We're treating the game as if it's been every other game. We want to do well. We want to finish the season strong. Lads be coming in, they want to prove a point for the Dundalk game. We might have a few niggles, I think, but fellas that are coming in, fellas who are playing, everyone wants to play a cup semi-final live on TV against Dundalk, so lads aren't going to be taking the piss in this game, so we want to go strong and hopefully beat Longford.
Friday week, 7:45 Oriel Park, Liam. UCD against Dundalk, FAI Cup semi-final. Your thoughts on that task?
I can't wait. It's going to be tough, obviously. They're such a good side, but like, we're going in as underdogs. There's more pressure on them, and that suits us down to the ground. It was the same with Waterford. We were the underdogs, and we just got to express ourselves, and that really suits us as a team. So hopefully we can cause an upset. Have
you allowed yourselves to dream of the Aviva Stadium and the cup final suits yet?
No, not yet.
It's quite far away yet, but hopefully.
But this is a game you've got a great chance to win. I really do believe the style of play, the confidence in the group, the abilities of players in the group as well. It's the first in the Premier against the first in the First Division, but like, you're going to play them 4 times next year. Play Cork, play Rovers, and so on and so forth. It's a great test, but I think it's going to be a great game. I can't wait for it.
We can't wait either. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a tough game. Dundalk are a top team, most likely going to win the league. They have players in the team that are pushing for international call-ups. But it's an incredible chance for us to express ourselves and show what we're about. It's our first game on TV this season, and we want to prove a point and show what we're like.
And the one thing you haven't experienced yet this year is the size of the crowd in Dundalk. It'll be sold out. There'll probably be 4,000 or 5,000 there. It's live on TV. That's a different task to what you guys... I know there's a really good crowd of over 1,000 in the Bowl last Friday, but are you ready for that away in Oriel? It can be a hostile place. The fans on the far side are great, but they're quite loud.
It's going to be different, all right, but as a footballer, it's those occasions that you want to play in. You want to play in front of big crowds. It was great on Friday, over 1,000 in UCD. It was incredible, so over 4,000 or 5,000, just being crazy. We can't wait for it.
Liam, are you ready for the hostile Oriel Park?
Yeah, I suppose you have to be. You can't let it affect you. I find that, I know I've never played in a game with that many people there, but I find after a few minutes the crowd just goes out of the window. You don't worry about them and you're focused on the game, so hopefully it'll be grand. I spoke
to Patrick Hubin on the podcast earlier in relation to their game against Cork this weekend, but how much are you looking forward to the chance of stopping the League of Ireland's top scorer and the man, by all accounts, with the biggest arse in the league?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. I've seen it. He has over 20 odd goals. We probably haven't come up across a centre forward like that in the league, so it's going to be different, and we're just going to have to, first few minutes, see what he's like and see his strengths and weaknesses. Hopefully we can get a few tips off someone, but we won't know until then. That's
fantastic stuff. Well done again winning the league. Congratulations. Best of luck in the Cup and in the league this weekend. Liam Scales and Josh Collins, thanks a million.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.